David Moore. I'm the Managing Director of Grayson Engineering 2015 Limited. We're a structural steel fabricator and erector based in Manukau, South Auckland. Predominantly we're domestic focused. We do a bit of export work, but it's kind of high-end non-structural. So if we look at our structural steel activity, 95% of our activity is local, predominantly in the Auckland area, some in the Waikato area. Type of work ranging from warehousing, portal frame type building, multi-storey apartments, stadia, commercial buildings, some mechanical as well. We directly employ 150 people and we'll employ typically an additional 25 to 30 subcontractors. I'm proudly part of the SFC Certified Fabricator Scheme, Construction Category 3. Being a member of SCNZ, we were party to the setting up of the scheme, and also we were made aware when it was time to be available to be audited and subsequently certified. I think it's been a very good thing because there's been good buy-in from the fabricators in New Zealand. The regulations around quality of fabrication and traceability are getting more and more stringent, so it's one of those scenarios where you either become part of it and buy into it, or you get left on the wayside. We've also got quite a lot of substandard product coming in from overseas, so we see it as an organisation as a good point of differentiation to say to the local people, you can have confidence in us that we're going to produce the product that you want and a cost of life that works within your budget. We've been certified for over a year now. Prior to that, the interesting thing was when the team from SCNZ and the welding centre came in and did the audit on our operation, 99% of what was required under the Certified Fabricator Scheme we'd been doing anyway, so the actual transition from being non-certified to certified was relatively easy. And I think from the date that we were first audited, within 3 months of that first date, we were all awarded the certification. We were quite fortunate that we had a company employee who took it on board to be our guy that would make all the necessary documentation and to do the transition. So, you know, having a dedicated person, and that's probably the luxury of having a reasonably big sized operation where, to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that was a requirement of the scheme we were already doing. So it's just a matter of actually documenting that into a format compatible with the requirements of the certification scheme. No, not significant issues. It does actually, you know, believe it or not, streamline your organisation, because a lot of the stuff that's within the body of the requirement is actually commercially beneficial to anyone that's going to take up the scheme. One thing to be aware of is the Certified Fabricator Scheme is embodied around a number of Australian, New Zealand standards and ISO standards. So we all know that there's the new standard ASNZS 5131 2016, which is sort of got to be now read in conjunction with NZS 3404 Part 1, because it's sort of referenced backwards and forwards. So anyone that's coming on board with the scheme needs to be aware of the constantly evolving standards around fabrication, erection, design, welding, all that sort of thing. I think it's more of a necessity, because if you look at contract documents these days, they do tend to be right up to date with where current standards are at. So I'd advise anybody that's looking at becoming certified to pay for and download off the ASNZS website the relevant standards, have a really good read of them and see how your organisation's operation meshes in with those particular standards. And it makes your bid, when you bid for a job, it makes you compliant, and there's no hidden traps for you. I can understand how smaller organisations, if you look at the cost of getting up to standard, it's probably not going to differ a lot by the size of your organisation. So yes, it does become, if you're a smaller operator, it does become a bigger part of your budget, but the way contract specifications and technical specifications are being written, we're seeing more and more of the SFC Certified Fabricator Scheme being mentioned in these documents. So, you know, it's really the cost of not doing it. One of the big aspects of the SFC scheme is traceability of materials. You become very disciplined in your material traceability, and you know, from the minute it arrives into your yard to the minute it's out the door to the painters, it's tracked all the way. And if someone asks you that particular assembly or member number from a building, give me the mill certificate for that, well, we can do that. Also, it just brings everyone in line with welding standards, erection standards. It's all encompassed in one document, and the fact that you have to go through quite a stringent audit process to become qualified, and you know, it makes it all worthwhile. There is quite a bit of buy-in coming now, and it's good to see that the consultants and the builders are requesting that fabricators have this certification, because it gives them surety that they're going to get a good, top quality, world standard product. Being accredited has streamlined our processes. Got a lot of buy-in from our own employees, and it's really, it's a really good thing.